Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Very happy to welcome Elizabeth Andrews, lead singer for the band Frantic Amber, to the program today. How you doing, Elizabeth?
Hello. I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Lots of interviews today?
It's the second one today. So I've been doing quite a lot lately.
Hey. Now, how is the album title pronounced? I've heard it pronounced a bunch of different names, so I'm going to go to you for the right pronunciation.
Well, I pronounce it Bellatrix.
Okay, that's what I was going to go with.
Yeah, it's Latin, so I'm not a Latin speaker, but it translates from Latin to female warrior in English.
Excellent.
And that's the concept, and that's why hence the name.
And this is your second full length with the band. You also have an EP as well, correct?
Yeah, we started with an EP, then Burning Inside, reissued Burning Inside,
right,
which was our first album, and now it's Bellatrix, the second one.
And album's been out for a little while now, getting rave reviews. This must thrill you, because a lot of work went into this.
Oh, yeah. We worked really hard. This is our baby, man.
Yeah.
It feels so good to actually finally having it out in the world and hearing people's feedback. It means the world to us.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be very cool. Were you much of a history buff going into this? Because I understand you did a ton of research for this album.
Oh yeah, man, I read about so many women. Because there are so many warrioresses that actually lived and breathed, and it's very cool. I just had to pick and choose the ones I found was the most most well documented, but also the most exciting, of course, to translate into metal lyrics. Yeah. Find the brutal ones. But no, before I wasn't. I'm not really into history per se. I think it's interesting. I love stories. Mostly I read fiction and stuff like when I read, but this was pretty close to that, man. There's some really good stories. And it was just a lot of fun to do this as a project, because I wouldn't do that otherwise, you know? So it was kind of like an assignment and a challenge, and it was really evolving and cool for me to do. I had a lot of fun with it.
So it sort of took you into a realm that you had never really been into before then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really cool, because then I discovered this whole world of because taking the historic facts and then putting them to music and giving the character life, it's really cool to do that process. And I hope it comes across.
It comes across very well. Was there any one story in particular that you really intrigued you, or you sort of fell in love with, or maybe was like your favorite story, or were they like children, you like them all equally?
Well, for the songs, of course, I love them all equally. It's like, we're their parents.
Yeah.
No, but so because each song has something in it that's just I love, and each has its own context and everything. When I was reading, one of the stories that stood out was the one for the song Yoshitai, which is her real name is Nakano Takeko, the woman I was writing about, and she was a Japanese samurai during the last part of the samurai era. It's like the 1800s, something like that.
Yeah. And
so she was in Japan and fighting, because there was a war between the Imperials and I guess called the Boshin War. And so she was defending, because as a woman, you had very few choices. It's like, when they come, they kill you, they sell you, they rape you. There's no other choices. It's just like, shit. Yeah. So... And she was a warrior, and she was a really good warrior, actually. Like most women back then, or if they had samurai training, it was because they could, if the men were out doing war or whatever, not home, the women were in charge of defending the home. So that was like a tradition, and very, at that time, very widespread. And so she was like one of the main ones that, when the war came, she gathered the other women and then formed a female army. So that's what Yoshitai means. It's female army in Japanese. And her mother and her sister were in this army with her. Wow. And during the last fight, she was fighting and taking down men right and left, and she was lethal in the battle. But eventually, she got shot in the chest, and she could feel like, oh man, I'm dying. So she told her sister to decapitate her take her head and go with it someplace safe because she didn't want the enemy to find her or her head or cut off her head and defile her body and ridicule her because that was apparently something you did in war times.
Yeah.
So that was just like, she did what? She said what? You know, it was a fascinating story.
Yeah.
And that happened. The sister took the head and she buried it it's a temple today under a tree. And it's just like, wow, that was some badassery right there.
Definitely. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The other one that sort of intrigued me was when I was doing research for this, you talked a little bit about the character behind Ghost That Kills being a World War II Russian sniper.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yudmila Pavlichenko.
Wow. I mean, and I'm not trying to sound sexist or anything, you just don't think of snipers as being female. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most were male at that time. Well, it's army and military stuff. Like, everyone you hear about is male normally.
Yeah.
But her kill list is like one of the highest. I think there is one guy, I think maybe, was he German? There was some guy, or maybe two or something, that had more kills, but she was right up there in the top. And not as, you know, I didn't know about it before I started searching. Yeah. But she was quite well known, actually. And she was known for being a sniper killer. So, like, the Germans were terrified. She's Russian, so the Germans were terrified of her because, like, she was the most patient woman and sharpshooter ever. She would just wait and outwait the other one, and they stuck up the hair and boom, you know. And she was very good at concealing herself and hiding and yeah. So she was a great sniper of her time, and it's also the latest we go up in history. It's the Second World War, because we didn't want to go too far up close to our time. We wanted it to be a history thing. Yeah. But yeah, so she was definitely a badass and very good at what she did.
Wow, that really intrigued me. I'm gonna have to check that out because that totally.
There's a movie made about her, and like she also went to the States and met the First Lady and all these things. Like she kind of, after she retired, because she was becoming too much of a target and well known, so everyone was like looking to kill her, and she got injured, and that's how she kind of retired. Went to the U.S. and all these things, and kind of was a more of a figurehead. But a cool thing, that's also the name, her pet name or like nickname, and the Germans call her was Lady Death, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah. And she was also called the Ghost That Kills, and hence the name of the song. Yeah. So very lethal.
Very, very cool. I mean, you've got songs on here, obviously, about, you know, Russian snipers, Japanese samurais, you've got Viking shield maidens, you've got Celtic warriors, you've got pirates. How much of a challenge was it, but it's still like sort of a concept, how much of a challenge was it to try and sort of tie it all together a little bit, but keep it individual as well?
Yeah, that was like the main concern while doing this. So we decided to have like, so each song has its own context, it's its own little world. Also, we wanted the music and the atmospheric sample tracks and all these things, intros and all the like the ambient stuff you can hear. Some like Yoshita has more, and others have less. Like the one Hunted is about Lozin. She was a Native American. Yeah. And all these things. So we wanted to give each track their own life and own, like you could hear or try to hear the ethnic culture and the kind of types of instruments that come from that country. So also wanted to spread it worldwide. So have different places and cultures and times also. So jumping through a timeline, so not too close together and all these things. So that was definitely something that we were thinking about, and while we're choosing which ones to go with, which warrioresses to write about. But to tie it all together and what they had in common, that was like their legacy. That's the story that is like the female badasses that did something great for their time. Yeah. And most of it, like you don't hear about them. I only knew about Lagertha because of Vikings, like series. Yeah. And that kind of also was an intriguing. And I was digging through like, because there is not so much written down from that time. Right. And all these things. So I was also trying to find enough on all these, and then, of course, put it into music and lyrics. So it definitely was on our mind to get it all put together and still be individual. So, like, you can hear it's from the same album, but it's still, you can play each as a single, you know.
Right. Did you come up, when you were doing the songs, did you come up with lyrics first and then music, or was it music then lyrics? Or was it a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. Mostly it's music first, and then I get it, and then I do the lyrics and record the vocals, and then I send it back, and then we have feedback, you know. So we're always like sending files back and forth, and giving each other feedback. But like mostly I got the music, and then I hear like in my head and how I would like to want it, and write the lyrics and all these things. Some tracks was also lyrics first, because it was so hectic at one point where we're just like spitting it out because we had a deadline, and we wanted to get this done. And so I think it was Scorched Earth was kind of like, give me a lyric, and I sent over what I had on the one I was working on, which was for Boudica. And then it kind of like went from there. So it's a little bit of both, but mostly music first, yeah. But it was fun. It's fun to do both. It's also fun to like start. Okay, I write a text, and then that's like you can do like an exercise about it.
Yeah, very cool. You talked about how each song had like their own character and stuff. I understand. I only got a digital download, so I haven't gotten the physical yet. But the booklet all had little stories that go with the song and this and stuff like that. I understand as well.
Yeah, exactly. So in the booklet, both for the vinyl and for the CD. You have, and actually it's also cool to check out because of the artwork.
Right.
There is a guy from Mongolia, Ganbat Badamkhand. I don't know how to pronounce it actually, but we found him on Facebook, and he was just so amazing. He was drawing all these cool warriors and female warriors because he was doing both.
Right.
And we were like, can you do this? And we wanted to have one for the cover, which is a kind of a generic. This is a warrioress album, and then we also got him to do one for each warrior. So he with the style and like their weapons, and you can see kind of where they're from, and it matches the song and where they're from. So I think we all think that he did a really good job. It was really blew our minds, and that's also in the booklet. You can see with the lyrics, of course. There's the sketch and different colors and stuff like this. So the album got more colorful than we first anticipated, but it's just like, okay, yeah, it was the original sketches we got from him, and so that's how we went. Also, the layouter, she also did it together with that in the original color scheme. So yeah, it's really cool to check out if you're interested in reading the lyrics and also seeing the artwork.
Definitely. Now, you sort of have a history in, like, classical and jazz music. I understand you majored in piano, minored in, like, sax in school. Is that right?
Well, yeah, actually, in music school, that's far back in time. So,
yeah.
But, yeah, the first instrument I learned was piano. Well, I've always been singing, like, since I was little. But the first one I got lessons for was piano. And I went to, like, this... It was, at the time, it was called, like, talent school, you know, because, like, the more promising students that they wanted to have more, you know, more lessons and more also theory and orchestra and quartet where you play with other musicians and stuff. So yeah, I was doing piano and I was doing saxophone. Tenor saxophone was my main, which I did for some years, yeah. And then I started singing more, also taking some clean vocal lessons. That was before I started growling. Like that was still when I was living at home.
Yeah.
And then I went all in for the ballet and kind of stopped all like music stuff. I still sang along, you know, just for fun in my room. And that's also how I discovered I could growl. I was singing along to Opus, the song "Goes to Perdition," and because I was singing with all the clean parts, and I was like, I want to sing the growling part as well. And I just tried it someday, and I was like, whoa, what was that? I was like recording on my crappy laptop, you know, just like making sure what was that sound. And that's how I was like, okay, I can do this. And later I found Frantic and they're like, can you do it for a whole song? I was like, sure, I'll just go home and practice. Yes, that's how it all like really got started. And I'm a nerd. It's just like with my ballet training and dancing, it's like trying to perfect the technique, find out how can I do this better, how can I improve, how can I do this with less strain on my body and so forth. So it's very cool to research all that.
Yeah. Now, with all that education and music and everything that you talked about, did that really help come into play when it came to putting, like, you know, the ethnic instruments and the ethnic touches into these songs? Did you lean on that at all?
Oh, not really, because I don't write the music at all, actually. I just give feedback on the songs.
Okay.
I'm the lyricist and the vocalist, and the music comes from the others. Mio is our main songwriter.
Okay.
Kind of puts it all together, but everyone's been writing. Mac has also been writing on this album. So yeah, it's really cool to get everyone together, and everyone gets feedbacks and ideas and all this stuff, like, for each other. So we always keep working until we're satisfied.
You guys did pretty much record all this album yourselves, though, right?
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah. Did any of you have any experience in doing that?
Oh, sorry.
I was stepping on your. As my daughter said, I was stepping on your words. Did any of you have any experience with recording, producing, anything like that? Going into this?
Yeah, we have been recording our own demos for a long time.
Okay.
And stuff like this, but it's the first time we did the finish, like, for an album. Like, we did all the recording ourselves. We had a guy to do some extra of the intros and some of the ethnic stuff for some of the songs. His name is Anders Volbeck, I guess you would say in English. Yeah. Which was pretty cool. He was all stoked about it and thought the concept was really cool. And he also did the intro for the album and stuff like this. So, but the rest is Frantic Amber, and also a lot of the ethnic stuff is Mio, basically.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the question?
I think that was the question. Do you have any experience? And you answered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We recorded everything. That was where I was. Right. Sorry. We sent it to Dugout Studio, which is Daniel Bergstrand.
Okay.
Dugout Productions is called, and he's been doing all the big names like Behemoth, In Flames, Meshuggah. You know, he's really good. And so he did the mixing. And also, of course, pitched in with some ideas and feedback. And he had also the contact for the mastering. It was by Obey Mastering.
Okay.
And so that it just turned out really, really great. He got our concept really well and what we're trying to do, and really found, really happy with the sound and the tone and everything. So. All good things. Kudos to that guy. It was really.
I'm trying to remember. You have a video coming out soon, right? And is it for Lagertha?
We're working on it. Yeah, we're working on 2 videos. It's gonna be like next year at some point. Yes, Lagertha is one of them, and Scorched Earth will be the other one that we're planning currently. Cool. And I don't think that's gonna be the last videos. We have a lot of videos for the record before as well. Like I think it's like 6 videos for that record, so we'll probably do at least as many, because we love to do this. It's another creative output, and we love to do all the acting and the extra stuff ourselves as well. So it's like an extra art project for us, and there will be more videos for sure.
Awesome. Touring plans?
Yeah, we're working on that. We're booking shows now to support Bellatrix, and we have some booked already, and we're looking at getting to the States as soon as we can. It's a big project, so we have some hooks out, and hopefully it will go through someday. We want to do some longer tours. Hopefully that will come together as well. But yeah, for now we're in the booking seat and trying to get everything together, and of course get back on the road as soon as possible. That's our favorite thing, is being on stage. Nice.
Chatting with Elizabeth Andrews, vocalist for Frantic Amber. The album is Bellatrix. Out for a while. You can check it out everywhere. Go to www.franticamber.com as well. Elizabeth, I always like to end my interviews with some silly questions. I call them. I'm hoping these are questions you've never been asked before. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds exciting.
All right. Favorite toy growing up as a child?
Favorite toy? Can I say my computer?
Absolutely.
Computer games?
Yes. If somebody asks my son that in a few years from now, he's probably going to say that as well. So, yeah. Very cool. If you could go back in time, we'll stick with your childhood here for a minute. If you could go back in time and eat one of your mom's home-cooked meals from your childhood, what would you have her cook?
actually funny and it actually happened. I don't know if that would be my answer today, but I just want to tell this story because it's weird.
Sure.
Okay, so as a child, and it's weird because most children do not like this, but I loved liver. Like, prepared. My mom makes the best liver. It's from like chickens, I think, or duck.
Okay.
And prepares it really nice and like put sides and stuff. And then one year I was quite small. I don't know if I was under 10 or something. I don't even remember. But she was asking what I wanted to eat for Christmas. Christmas dinner is kind of a big deal. So it's like normally I have this big feast.
Yeah.
And I was like, liver! And she was like, for Christmas? I was like, yay, I love liver. So it's just like a weird thing. I still like liver today. It's just like a weird thing to like as a child.
Right. Hey.
Yeah. So I guess I would say that just because it's fun.
All right. If you could blink and appear anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Can I get back from there again by blinking? Or?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I would probably go top of the Himalaya mountains.
Okay.
Why not?
Hey, why not?
Get down again by blinking,
Yeah, exactly. Go up, check it out, and then come back down.
Yeah.
Would you rather have the power to be invisible or to read minds?
Okay, so read minds. Can I control when I want to read minds, or is it constant?
It's a power that you have. You either can read minds or be invisible.
Oh shit! Both are good. Okay, I would rather be able to teleport or fly or something.
Okay.
Okay, I would just say.
Invisible, then you can hop on a plane and go anywhere.
Well, that's true. Okay, invisible. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right, go-to song to sing in the shower.
Good question. When I was younger, I would do that a lot. Like when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
So the first thing that comes to mind is, I don't even remember the first was afraid, I was petrified.
Okay, yeah. I Will Survive, Gloria Gaynor.
I used to sing that in the shower a lot when I was a teenager because it's like a catchy, funny song.
Do you think Frantic Amber will ever cover that live in concert?
Probably not.
Okay. That would be funny.
Well,
right.
Like the covers we've been doing is like Crystal Mountain by Death and Hammer Smash Face by Cannibal Corpse. So,
Right.
Well, we'll see.
I think you should come out with I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. That'd be a great one. All right. Last one, and I want to put this out there first. I was asking this question long before all these biopics came out. If they were to make a movie of your life, what actress would you have play you? And it's your movie, your life. You can pick anybody.
Oh. I don't know. Who could that be? No, I'm not very into what would be good match like that, but Elizabeth Taylor maybe? I don't know.
Right.
Or Eva Green. I just like them.
Yeah, there you go. I could see a young
Other
Elizabeth Taylor.
cool brunettes,
Yeah, cool brunettes. There we go. All right, well, Elizabeth, I want to thank you very, very much for taking the time to chat with me today. Once again, we've been chatting with Elizabeth Andrews, lead vocalist for Frantic Amber, the new album Bellatrix, out now everywhere. Check it out, www.franticamber.com. And if you ever get over here to the States to do that tour, I hope to maybe meet you and say hi.
Yeah, of course. That would be great. I hope it will happen soon.
All right, take care. Thank you very much.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.